welcome back to Into the Grove. I'm Ace.
I'm Tori.
I'm Augusto.
Auguste.
That one was more normal.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
the
more
closest
normal,
y'all are
but
getting.
it had a little.
It had my country accent. All right.
All right. Anyways,
you're gonna hear it a lot when you come up.
Anyways, that besides the point. Today's topic is driving, and we're basically just gonna be making fun of each other's driving, but also probably talking shit about other people's driving.
And we agree on one thing. One thing. Some old people cannot be on the road anymore.
No, there should be a mandatory test when you reach a certain age to make sure that you can still drive, because there's no way.
If you're retiring age, take the test again.
I know an 88-year-old man who still drives.
Oh my god!
Like that, buddy. I think you've reached your time to stop driving. Let someone else do it. You're paying for someone to take care of you. Just let them drive.
Yeah, no, there's like so many different things we can talk about with this topic. Probably the first thing we're going to talk about is our own driving. And our own general experiences, like close calls, accidents we've been in, stuff like that. Just like things that we can just talk about, gossip about, basically. And then we can probably move on to like family stuff, because Tori, we know that you can't drive. Yet you're the oldest.
It's okay, I'll just talk about other experiences I've had in cars. I'll talk about everything else of cars.
Who should we have go first for?
You know what? I'll be the tough one in this. I'll be the one to go first, because this topic is one I get bullied IRL for a lot. Because my driving is, well, not my driving, mostly my parking is horrendous. Let's put it this way. The other day I went to work, I took 2 parking spots, apparently.
Oh,
I didn't
my
notice.
God.
Because I was in the middle of 2 of them.
That is so bad. What the fuck?
Hit my brother's truck multiple times.
Oh,
reversing out of the parking lot. Here's the thing. I don't know my lefts and rights when I'm reversing.
Oh.
So,
this is why that DMV lady should have never given you a license.
You're very much legally obtained license. Not at all just given to you.
Let me start with the first one. This is pre-COVID, by the way. Just as I got my permit. And my father decided to teach me how to drive standard. And here's the thing. I can't process information very well. Especially when you're telling me, all right, first gear. Okay? And your thing's upside down. His stick is upside down. What's it called? The label on it. So it took a little longer for me to process, and it was so difficult too that I almost crashed into a building.
Oh my God.
Specifically a salon. And the thing is, thank God for my reflexes, I held the clutch and braked. But we were very close to the building. A car away. A car away. Like, saying if I didn't stop, we would have crashed into it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that yikes.
Keep in mind, that was about, I was 16, 17.
So, okay.
I'm doing a lot better now.
I have an experience from when I was 14. Because in the state I live in, you can start learning to drive at 14 and 9 months. I had taken driver's training basically as soon as I could. I could not wait to drive. And so I was learning how to drive with my mom in the car with me at about just a little bit before I was 15. Within the first 3 hours of me being on my permit, I hit a deer.
You hit a deer?
Yeah.
You hit yourself?
Dude! Your family members.
Your family? Grandma!
Grandma, no! Grandma was the reindeer!
run over by a reindeer. She was the reindeer.
Oh my gosh.
Got hit by a car.
Sorry.
Anyways, yeah, no, within the first 3 hours of driving, like I had my app going because when you're learning to drive, there's an app that you can have that'll track your time all together no matter what. And you can, and if you forget to turn it on, you can input times and distances and all that because you have to reach a certain amount of distance, like miles driven and amount of time driven, before you can officially get your license.
Really?
Don't
Wow.
don't tell the DMV. I lied.
Dude, I never submitted a sheet.
That's because you were just given a license.
You weren't supposed to.
You didn't take any of the tests. You just got one. There's a whole process to get a license, Augusto.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
yes.
I would have never guessed.
I went through the entire process. The beaver did not. The rat failed.
I passed the first half of the process.
Here.
I passed the first half of the process. I passed the permit test with flying colors, actually.
I also passed the permit test with flying colors.
I am the only legal driver here, guys.
Guess who's gonna be driving? Guess who's gonna be driving?
I'm scared. I'm scared of you.
Me.
I'm scared because I'm gonna be in a car with you, and you're gonna have my life in your hands.
Don't you worry, I'm a very paranoid person, so you're gonna see me very much making sure I look. Apart from the time I hit my dad's truck.
But
this was very recent.
So it was like late at night when I hit the deer. We were headed back home from my grandparents' house. My grandparents live about 30 minutes from me, so it was just pretty straight roads and everything. And I had seen the deer before I hit it. And so I had stopped. I had come to a full stop. The deer was standing next to me. And it was just standing there staring at the car. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to start going. And I start creeping forward. And the deer's just walking next to me. And I'm like, okay, it's not going in the road, so I'm going to try to go in faster. The deer goes, yeet! I'm like, bro! That deer had a death wish.
You're trying to like call your insurance company? No, the deer leaped in front of my car. It was intentional. That deer had it out for me.
So the insurance.
That deer's like me for real.
The insurance thinks it was my mom driving because, you know, if you have like
a permit, young drivers, it's so bad.
Young drivers, yeah,
they'll increase your insurance so much.
Yeah, my mom filed it as her being driving because, you know, it was a genuine weird thing. The deer literally jumped in front of the car.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, why do you have my mental state? Joking. I'm joking.
Maybe. I'm kidding.
To be a deer by the side of the road.
All right. Well, I have much less actual driving experience due to some unfortunate circumstances known as I don't have my license. Anyways.
You failed it.
Okay.
So bad.
Well, I would just like to preface this. I am not actually like a bad driver. I am someone who suffers fairly badly from testing anxiety. So, while I can drive like perfectly fine in just normal circumstances, as soon as it came to like my actual road tests, I was making just a lot more small mistakes than I would normally make.
Like?
So,
say you ran a red light.
Well, yeah. I'll explain it because it was bullshit. But I will also preface this by the fact that when I was entering driver's ed, it was lockdown. So nothing was in person. All of my driver's ed was
Mhm.
virtual, and it was just watching
Mhm.
lectures. So I got none of that actual driver's ed, like in person driving in the car experience,
Mhm.
which made it a lot harder. As the oldest here, by the time you guys would have actually been doing like driver's ed in school, lockdowns were reducing. Things were getting
Mhm.
a bit better. But at the
It
time I
was
was doing it, it
I
was
did it
peak lockdown, and
yeah,
there
I did it
there
in my
was nothing
sophomore
you could
year.
do. Um,
Yeah, I did it in sophomore year where lockdown was still like enforced, but not really.
yeah, so like literally it was fully virtual. And you just had to do like a little quiz every
Yeah.
week. Um, so that was like my driver's ed experience. So because of that, my parents uh like got a driving instructor at first, and the driving instructor I had would not take me, like encourage me to go anywhere other than residential roads, which means I
That
had
is
no
not.
experience on like, you know, the roads that I actually would need experience on, because your road test is not all residential roads. you
Yeah, no.
know
Mm-mm.
they want to know that you can drive on other routes.
Mhm.
um
And
but
did your like instructor have like did you drive your instructor's car as in like
yes,
because yeah, because they had like that brake.
yes. And also my first test was taken in my instructor's car. The second
Mhm.
test wasn't, because I wasn't using that like driving instructor anymore. Because at the end
Mhm.
of the paid instruction period, you took the test, and that was it. Like pass or
Mhm.
fail. If you wanted to take it again with that instructor, you had to pay for more, which we weren't doing.
Mm.
But so I
Bro,
was
what?
only driving residential roads and practicing my 3 point turns and parallel park, which I was really good at both of those. Like I was good
Bro,
at the
so
parallel park, but and I was really good at the 3 point turn. I had no problem with those. Um and then my only other driving instructor was my dad, and we'll get into why that was not good later
we'll
when we
get into
talk
that
about
later.
other drivers, because ooh, buddy. Anyways, so the first
Ruh-roh.
time I took my test, I did everything you're supposed to do when you pull away from the curb. You signal, you check, everyone's buckled up, of course, before you even start the car for the road test. That's all going good. We get to an intersection with a light, and when I get there, it is red, and I wait for it to turn green. I see it turn green, and I'm looking at it, and I tell you, it was not the arrow that had turned green. Because people have asked me, like, are you sure it wasn't just like the turn arrow? It wasn't. It was the light turned green. So I start to go, and as soon as I'm like past the light, the lady that was in the car with me for my test goes, "So you just ran a red light?" I'm like, "I literally waited at the red light for it to turn green." So that was weird. Because I promise you, it was not the turn arrow that turned green, it was the light. But some vehicles can like alter um the lights,
Oh,
like
mhm.
ambulances and all that. So potentially it could have been something like that. Because they
Mhm.
can trigger a red light so that they're able to get
Yeah,
through. So I don't know if
yeah.
that was the cause, but I tell you that it was green. Um, and then the second time I took it, significantly better. Took it at a different location. Um, and so I do my 3 point turn, which goes great. I didn't even get to do the 3 point turn because the whole light thing happened early in the test, so I didn't get to a spot to do the 3 point turn.
Yikes.
Yeah, which is like the worst, because it's like if it weren't for that, I may have passed. I didn't even get the
Mhm.
chance to show anything else. Um,
Mhm.
So I do the 3 point turn, we continue the test, which is good. That means I didn't automatically fail on that. And then we get to the
Mhm.
parallel park, which, if you don't know anything about driving, you're gonna hear many people complain about the parallel park because
Yes.
no one is good at parallel parking. Okay?
Parallel parking is the worst type of parking because it's so easy to screw it up.
And when you're doing it
And
in like the real world, in your day-to-day life, you're gonna mess it up and have to like do more alterations, like adjustments. But on the road test,
yeah,
you are not allowed to do over a certain amount of adjustments.
yeah, you're only allowed to do like what was it, 3 or 4?
I think it's like 3 adjustments. Um, and you are not allowed to even tap the curb. The second you tap the curb doing the parallel park, you fail.
Yeah.
Which,
Yikes.
unfortunately for me, I very barely touched the curb. Like, I'm telling you, I was going so slow backing up to do this, and I bumped the curb so slightly that I didn't even know if the guy had felt it. But he did, and it's an automatic fail no matter what if you touch the curb, which is so stupid for the parallel park. Um,
Hmm.
Especially because the area I live, you like most of the time people don't parallel park.
Yeah.
Like it's not a necessity. It's not a city.
Yeah.
Um,
Most of the time in cities, there's also parking garages.
Yeah,
mhm.
I say
Which,
that as someone who goes to the city very often. But there are alternative options, guys. You don't have to
yeah.
parallel park if you
I,
don't
Like,
wanna.
yeah.
so, is that your story finished?
Uh, Maybe, hold on. Oh, and then another detail is the second time I took it in my car and not my instructor's car. And my instructor's car was significantly larger than my car. So I had never parallel parked in my car before. So while I probably would have done it perfectly in my instructor's car because I was used to that car, I was not used to parallel parking in mine. And
Hmm.
also, you guys, I have to be right back temporarily. I just got a text from one of my parents. Feel free to continue.
Yeah, we can continue on
Yeah, you guys
while
continue
you
and
do that.
I'll be back.
All right, all right, all right. But yeah, like so for me, I took my test twice. I did succeed on the second time. Tori, you're not muted, by the way. Um, but I it was the first one. So how my the person I went to did it is we did the parking first and then the driving portion because you're more likely to fail on the parallel parking than you are on any other part of it. So at least that way you know you're done for immediately. Because like my first test, I didn't even get on the road. I failed the parallel parking so miserably because so that I didn't even get a chance to get on the road. Like
Damn.
my other parking was perfect, was fine. Like I drove into spots and I backed into spots. Fine. I was perfectly fine for both of those. My but I did not like in the when I was parking, the instructor was on the outside of the car. I was the only one inside the car actually doing stuff. The the tester was on the outside watching everything I did basically, and my parents, after I failed that test, they took me and they literally set up a thing for like a set up parallel parking spot and had me do it like a like 50 million times before I did it correct, like consistently. So then when I took my test again, I think I think I did it perfectly that time.
Damn.
Cuz here's the thing. I live in the country, middle of fucking nowhere. You don't need to parallel park where I'm from very often. The
I
only
live
time,
suburbs. It's not important in suburbs either. The only time like I've ever witnessed a family member do it was for like a party.
yeah, like, so, and for the most part, if I have to go, if I'm going downtown and I need to like park somewhere, there's a high likelihood that I'm gonna be able to just pull into one of those parking spots instead of having to actually parallel park.
You see, guys, I'm in the city. I'm quite the contrary of all of you two on
Yeah.
this. I live in the city. I'm supposed to know how to parallel park.
Mhm.
I don't very well.
Yeah, I don't remember how to parallel park. If I tried to parallel park today, there's no way I would. If I had to take the parallel parking part of the test again, I'd fail because I haven't done it since I passed my test.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's how little you use it. You quite literally in like
They should at
literally for a
least
parking garage. Hmm?
they should be more lenient on the parallel
Yeah,
park. Like it's
I
not like I
understand.
drove over the curb. I tapped it.
I understand why they're really strict about it, but it's also a thing of how often do you parallel park?
Not
I guess it should
often.
Like, hmm?
it should kind of depend like where you live, knowing that
Yeah,
Like if
here
you
in
live
my
in a
my
big city, yeah, you should be able to parallel park.
yeah, that's what
yeah,
I'm
but if you
saying.
live if you live in the country,
Country.
there- if you live in the country, if you live in suburbs, most of the time you're gonna be able to park without parallel parking. Because for suburbs and the country, you can just park on people's lawns if necessary. Most people don't like to, but there a lot of people do it still. If you're like going to a party or something, and then you can just like park on the side of the road. With cities, you can't really do that, and
Because
like
there's not
Nope.
really the
so,
grass patches. It's
there's not
Nope.
really.
Can
sidewalks in a
confirm.
city.
Can
Yeah,
confirm there is no grass patches for you guys to park in.
yeah.
Because my
um,
grandparents live in the country and they literally don't have like an actual driveway to park. Like they have a gravel driveway. Everyone just parks on the
I do too.
grass.
I have a gravel driveway as well. And people can like you can park on the grass here, but the issue is we've also got a giant hill, like a giant ditch as part of our yard and shit. And good luck getting your car out of the ditch. Like you can. It's just gonna be a pain in the ass.
I can
Like you
imagine.
don't need tools or anything for it. You don't need to get another car for it. It's just like it's just not ideal because you're probably gonna ruin the lawn while you try to get your car out of the ditch. Like we can take the tractor and shit down there, but like usually we only go the one way, which is a lot less steep.
There's dogs barking in the background.
Bark, bark, bark.
Who the hell's dogs are those?
Not mine.
They're yappy little dogs. Who has yappy little dogs?
um,
Why
I
are
do
they
have
so
another.
loud?
I do have another accident story. Um,
Oh no.
so this was basically right after I got my license. Um, it
I'm
was
sorry.
what?
The
Little dog.
dogs.
Hey,
Oh.
yapping.
I had my license for probably a month at this point. Um, Not ideal. But I had it for about a month, and I was driving to school, and I had started picking up a couple of my friends for school. Even though it was out of my way and everything, I didn't really care because it's a country kid school. Um, I you're gonna have to drive a bit no matter what, no matter where you try to go. Um, so I wake up late one morning and I'm like, oh fuck. and I hadn't had time to text both of them and be like, "Hey, woke up late. I'm really sorry." Because here's the thing: the bus was probably already coming or had already gone by at that point. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh,
Me when
there
I
he is.
misclick. Me when I misclick.
Oh, my mom's calling me.
This is like the episode of distractions.
I'm drawing. I was
Also,
trying to look for a reference, and I'm like, press, and I accidentally clicked the VC instead of the mute.
I
It's
would
like,
like to
oh,
point out I got summoned for something and it wasn't even anything important. I was literally just told to get new laptops because my school laptop broke last year, and I've been
oh
using my
shit,
mom's, and she kind of wants her laptop back, so I need a new laptop.
dude. I was supposed to do laundry, but I got distracted, so I also forgot about that.
Okay, okay, sorry about that. I'm back. So
No,
where
he
what?
isn't. He's not
What were you
back.
guys what?
He's not
What
back.
were you
I
guys talking
feel like I
about?
still hear him. I feel like I can
I'm
still
gonna
hear him.
I'm gonna stab you.
Oh,
It's not
that's an
allowed.
actual threat. You're
Hey,
welcoming this person into your home.
it's alright. I can make him sleep with the dogs. He can sleep outside. I can tell my mom I changed my mind that we can leave the couch bed outside.
Damn.
She's
This is
she's gonna be
like,
very concerned.
I think
You know what?
this is
I'll
our
you know
most.
what? You won't be getting a couch bed anymore. You'll be getting a cot.
I would probably sleep better on a cot. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
was gonna say you have two options. I was gonna give you two options. We have the couch bed and a cot.
I honestly would probably sleep better on a cot.
You want the
Because
cot?
yeah, because I'm used to sleeping on a cot if necessary.
It's gonna. It's like a pull-out couch.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Anyways,
We could discuss that later. Which
This
one you
is like
prefer?
the most scuffed one by far. We're like not even
It's okay,
30 minutes in. Multiple of
dude. I'm
us have
dealing with
had to
allergies.
leave. The dogs are
Um,
barking. They're done now, but
wait. I'll be right back. Let's make this more scuff. Let me go get some ice cream real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna go get my ice cream.
Augusto accidentally leaves the first time. Second time was on
I'm keeping
purpose.
I'm keeping all of this in. I am not editing any of this out. This is I'm gonna put it at the beginning. I think you should name it driving. The most scuffed episode yet.
The thing is, my dad calls me down, and I think it's something important because it's, can you come down right now? Okay. I go downstairs. Oh, I put some laptops in the Amazon cart. When you get a chance, like just take a look, and if you like them, I'll get you one of them because I know yours is broken. I'm like, oh, okay. And I look at the cart, and they're all HP laptops. I'm sorry. You could not pay me to get another HP laptop. Those things die
I'm
in.
gonna get my strawberry flavored mochi ice cream.
Oh my
Flavored
god,
ice cream.
you actually got fucking ice cream.
Yeah, I did. You want to see it? Hold on.
Anyway,
They're all HP laptops, and I'm not buying HP again. I'll
I'll
rant
show you.
about
I'll
HP
show you.
laptops another day because I have stories.
I did went to go get them.
oh my god, you did.
I did. You think I was joking? Nah, I got them.
anyways. So,
What were we talking about?
so I wake
Oh, the
so I
other
wake up late.
accident.
Yeah. So I wake up late and I'm like,
Mm.
oh fuck. So I get ready in like 5 minutes.
Mm.
And I run out the door. I can get ready really quick. I just literally threw on clothes and just ran out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten so used to it because I'm really bad at waking up.
We know.
Um
It's crazy.
and so I run out the door, I jump in my car, start it, rush down the driveway, and I get to my friend's house, pick them up, and then I'm just about to like pull out onto the main street of my town so that I can go and pick up my other friend because he is a couple more minutes away. And there's this bush on the corner that I'm trying to look around. You can't see through it. You can't see around it. That's how big this bush was. It was a hazard. Lots of accidents caused because of it. It's foggy, and it's
That's
early.
always when it's foggy.
Yeah, it's early. So I'm looking both ways, and I I think like, and I noticed that there's a bus coming, and I'm like, okay, if I pull out and I get into the middle lane, I'll be able to get into that lane as soon as possible. And I I think I'm pretty sure I glanced over, couldn't see any cars coming from the direction that I could barely see from. I pull out, bam, I get hit.
Mm.
And it's just like, I'm like, fuck, because like this was very much my fault. It was very much, I was the at fault party, but I didn't really get a ticket for it. So pull off to the side. The bus comes, and my friend gets out of the car and goes and gets on the bus.
No fucking way. They said it's all on you, bud. All
Yeah,
on you.
they get out of the car and go get on the goddamn bus and leave me there to deal with the whole situation while I'm shaking. I'm panicked. This is not a good like, first of all, if you're okay, first of all, gotta say this. If your friend gets into an accident, do not just leave them, even if you're gonna be late to school.
If you leave them, you're a
That's
shit friend.
rude. Literally. Because, like, I was shaking.
Mm.
My voice was shaking. I was on the verge of tears this whole time. I was panicked because, first of all of this adrenaline's running through me because I got into an accident. And then there's the panic and fear that I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna lose my license because I've had it for a month. I've had my license for a very little time, and I've already gotten into an accident.
That's true.
And so I'm just panicking, and I go over to check if the guy's okay because like I'm like, hey, because like I knew I was at fault. I knew I was at fault. I was taking the blame because I pulled out in front of them. So I being 16 and not really knowing what to do if I got into an accident because I'd never been told what to do. I've not seen videos yet on what to do because I hadn't been like in the driving part of like the world for a while. And so I go out to him like, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And he's just like, just call the damn police. I'm just like, oh, okay. And like, I'm still shaking. I call like because like I don't know what to call, so I'm like 911 because I don't know who else to call. I don't know what other number to call because like again, this is my first time ever being in a situation like this, and because in my entire life I've never been in an accident. This is the first accident in my life aside from a deer accident.
And we all know the deer was the guilty party in that one.
yeah.
Poor dear.
So I called dispatch and I called 911, and like my voice is shaking, and like I'm so grateful for her because she did ask all of the right questions to me, like did anybody get hurt, yada yada, like everything that she's supposed to ask she did. And she did she did like, with her being so calm, it did calm me down a little bit. But then after I called the police, I called my mom. And my mom forgot that my friend had moved. Her name is super unique. So, I was gonna say different. I wasn't even gonna say her name when I accidentally started to say a name. I don't even know why that's the name I was gonna say, but her name is super unique, so I'm not gonna say it just for her own privacy. Um, but so my mom forgot that she had moved because she had been on a different street. She had moved in our town twice. And she had moved to our town like the year before. So, yeah. Cuz she was from a completely different state across the country. Um she used to live on a road that like was a lot more people walking because it was a lot more of a like one-way road type of thing. But she had moved to a different house that was on like like a two-way street, everything like that. And my mom had, when I had told her I had hit somebody, because that's what I had thought at the time, because I was like, my brain was thinking I hit somebody, it's my fault, like because I had caused the accident. That's how my brain was processing it. And so I call my mom and I tell her, hey, I just hit somebody, yada yada yada. And she comes from work. Love her. I am really grateful that my mom came so quick. She left work and came home. And then I don't remember if I went to school that day or not. I'm pretty sure I did. Um I'm pretty sure I still went to school even after the accident and everything. Um but that was that was like the only proper accident that I've ever been in. And it is quite literally the reason I am so cautious with driving today, because I quite literally triple check no matter what I'm doing because of that accident.
So, do you want to hear the accident I got in on a school parking lot?
Oh
What?
boy.
Oh.
So, parallel parking, like y'all were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, the parking lot had a bunch of that. The thing is, um, it was raining really hard as well,
Mhm.
and it happened to be the person next to me has parked there because my brother was running late. Fuck you. You could have woken up earlier and not. If he just woke up earlier, we would not be in this situation, essentially.
Mhm.
Because I knew I was bad at parking, so I would try to come to, school early. Ew, cringe, I know. But still, I don't want to hit a car. We came late one day. I hit somebody. I hit their car. And the thing is, it was so bad, it broke my entire, what's it called? Light bulb on one side.
Oh my
And
god.
left
Oh
that
my
entire part
god.
all scratched. By the way, this is my old car, but I used to own a white car. That car was not white by the time it was given. It was the time I had it because of the accidents.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
And it was like all scratched up all the way to like nearly the door. I reversed back out of it. I think it left like a huge dent in the guy's car. He called up his mom. I called up my dad, and the mom being so chill. God, goodness gracious, she was so nice. She said, "It's fine, don't worry about it." She's like, Is your car okay?" I'm like, "I'm
Not
fine.
really.
I'm fine. My car doesn't matter right now. I'm the one who caused this." But she was so sweet and just said, "That's fine, don't worry about it. You two go to
I
class." That's what she told us. She's like, "You two get to class,"
I
and that's
love it
it.
when parents are like that, because it just it definitely gives less anxiety and it definitely helps with it. But I'm 100% sure your parents had a conversation. Those two parents had a
No,
conversation.
they didn't.
It-
They
oh,
didn't.
they
They didn't.
didn't?
They didn't
Well,
talk.
a lot of
She said, "Don't
parents,
worry about it."
most parents would get their kid who is newer to driving a used car, nothing like new and expensive.
Mine
Yeah.
So
was very much used.
there's a good chance that like that kid's car wasn't like the best car anyways.
Mhm.
Like, cause most new drivers are likely to trash their car,
Getting, yeah.
to wreck that
I
car. So
yeah,
yeah.
I the car that I got into the accident with completely got wrecked. It was the car that we had for years and years. It was the family car for the longest time. My brother drove it and I drove it before my brother got his own car. But so he's been through 3 cars. Um,
3?
yep. We'll get to
Oh my
that.
god.
Should we transition into the driving of other people?
Yes, because I have more stories on that than my own personal. Because
So,
I don't have bad driving stories of myself other than my road test because I'm not actually a bad driver. I'm just a
See,
nervous driver.
I am a bad driver when it comes to parking because
yes.
there's so many times I've hit in a car just by reversing, but it's mostly been my brother's car.
Hmm.
Right now I'm a lot better with it. There's only like a small scratch on the back of my car right now, and that one's newer, and otherwise it's pretty clean from scratches.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
So, my brother has been through 3 cars. And it was to the point where my parents' insurance said, "You need to take him off your insurance."
Oh my god. We actually just took my older sibling off the insurance because they tried to increase our insurance price because my older sibling has been in a couple car accidents. Never big ones, okay? And the one time that a car accident actually wrecked my older sibling's car, it wasn't my older sibling's fault. My older sibling was parked. A nosy neighbor was trying to like see what was going on with another neighbor and backed like literally just hit my sibling's car that was parked on the side of the
Oh my
road
gosh.
and it messed up the like wheel
Hmm.
like and it was something that like it could not be fixed. So
Yeah.
insurance
no.
covered a new car and all that. And that car, the car that the insurance covered is a bit older now and it's going to need to be replaced soon.
Yeah.
But my
So,
siblings like only ever like rear-ended people and it was never bad. It was never bad ones, like
oh,
very minimal damage to cars.
oh, I just remembered about one thing that I did. So, one winter, so I have 2 other things that I've experienced specifically, and both of them are winter driving things. And tour and if you live in the north of the United States or live where you get snow pretty consistently, you know what it's like when you drive and it's snowy and there's ice on the road.
Oh yeah, my car
You
can't
know how
handle
Oh,
it's
ice.
like.
My car cannot handle ice or snow. It will slide no matter what.
Yeah, no. So I'm driving both of these times. I'm driving to work because I worked at McDonald's at the time. And so this first time, I I'm like I'm driving to work and I'm about to turn onto a road so then I can get onto the main road to get to my job. Um, and I turn ever so slightly too fast, and I just slide into the bank. And so I have to wait. I have to be. I'm like, God damn it! So I call my dad. Hey, I slid off the road. Can you come help me out of the snow? Because I cannot get out. And then I hang up. I call my work. Hey, I slid into this. I slid off the road while driving. I'm gonna be about 30 minutes late, maybe an hour.
oh no.
um, and and then one good thing about being living in a small town is if people see you on the side of the road, so many people are gonna stop and be like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need any help? Do you need a warm place to sit?" There were so many people that like stopped by my car and were like, "Hey, you okay?" And then there's this one family that like legitimately stayed till my dad got there. And I cannot appreciate that enough because it was so sweet. Because I love living in a small town because of things like this, but I hate it because there's like nothing to do. um and then the other time is I was taking a different route to work. Um this route for the longest time was closed. But this was before it got closed for construction and stuff. So I was driving down it and I this was like my first winter, I think. First like so I wasn't super used to driving in the snow and ice and everything. And I pressed the brakes, but I'm on a hill
Oh no. Oh no.
with with ice. And my car is like basically stopped, but it's moving forward, it's sliding forward. And I just like I bump into the car in front of me. And I stop my car. I put it in park, and I step out of the car, and it was this older couple in front of me, and they were so sweet. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Uh, they and I and they're like, no, it's completely okay. There's no actual damage, and if anything, there was maybe a scratch, because that's how light it hit. It was not like a bam hit. It was like a boom, boom, like a boop, and they just kind of sat together. And so like they moved forward a little bit because my car was officially stopped now. It was not moving anymore, even though it was still like on a slight hill. And they looked at it, and it was completely fine. And they were so sweet. They just let it go. They just went on their way, and I just went to work.
So on the
So that was
topic of other people driving,
yeah.
since I'm out of experiences, uh, so as I've mentioned, my dad was one of my other instructors to learn how to drive, and that did not go the best, and I will tell you guys why. My dad is not the best driver. Now, I am not someone who gets motion sick. Like, I don't get seasick, I don't get car sick,
Mhm.
none of that. Like, VR doesn't make me
Mhm.
feel sick, none of that.
Thanks for that
However,
with me.
the only thing, the only times I get car sick, like that I feel car sick, is when my dad is driving. Because this man, he will switch lanes constantly. It's like, you didn't have to. We could have stayed in this lane. And he'll do it so fast that it's just like, wait. And so like, of course, my stomach, like, I'm gonna feel nauseous. Um, and it's like those scenes in the movies where you switch lanes to the lane that you think is gonna be faster, and all of a sudden that's the one with the traffic. It's like that. It's like there was no reason to switch lanes. It's not faster.
Mhm.
We're going the same area. We're going the exact same direction as the
Mhm.
that lane. There's no reason. So that is like the only times I'll get car sick. So of course, when that's my driving, the person teaching me how to drive, you can see how that's not
Bro.
gonna be the greatest at all.
No.
So
Yikers.
Yoikers.
yikes. Um, and then I am a proud passenger seat person. I will happily sit passenger seat, but you cannot expect me to do any sort of assistance. Like
So
you can't expect me to read the directions. I will get you lost.
Um,
I will get you
one of my
lost to the way to my own house. So
no way.
so
it's
I
happened.
have so I had a friend. So this is a little bit like taking a detour. Um, I had a friend in high school who would always give these random facts, terrifying facts, and they never want to sit in the passenger seat because every single time they would say the passenger seat is the deadliest seat in the car. And I'm just sitting here like, okay. And since my car doesn't have an airbag, um yeah,
I'm sitting
I've
in the
been
back.
driving no, no. Here's the thing. My car doesn't have an airbag. Technically, I'm in the worst position because everybody else has airbags. I don't.
Why not?
So we bought my car after it had been into an accident, and my dad fixed it up for me to have. So it is like a crash car, but it was a crash car, got a new engine, and basically fixed up the front. The cabin was all completely fine. It was just the engine in the very front of it that was fucked. So it was just a thing of getting it to work, and my dad just never fit the airbag, and I've asked him a lot. but I have a feeling he's not going to until I get into an accident.
Yeah, that
Which
checks
is gonna
out.
be too late to fix it, because the car is probably gonna be totaled at that point.
Yeah, I will get you lost. In fact, I have a story of me doing exactly that. Um, so I have a best friend who I refer
Mhm.
to online as Frog. Um,
Mhm.
to keep them anonymous and to keep their personal life separate. But
Mhm.
Frog can drive. We went to the same high school, and Frog is a pretty good driver. So Frog would
Mhm.
often drive me home. Um,
Mhm.
and one time, Frog, we had one class together, and it was a crafts class. And
Mhm.
we had a substitute that day, so Frog actually texts me before the class starts and says, "Don't go into class. Meet me outside, like in the hallway." And I'm like, "Okay, weird." So I do that, and Frog's like, "We're not going to class. We're gonna go get bagels." And I'm like, "All right, sure, whatever." So we sneak out of the school using like the one exit that there is no security guard by. We
Your school had
sneak.
security guard?
Yes,
Are the dude? My school had like 3.
I went to a large public high school. We had like 10.
Oh yeah.
We had like 10.
So how big were your guys' schools? Like how many people went to your school?
That's a good
Graduating
question. Hold
class
on.
of over 500 for just my grade.
Hold
So,
on. Let me look mine
That's
up.
bigger than school.
yeah.
Hold on.
That's bigger
So,
than the whole high school. That explains why there was no
Graduation
security.
class of blank high school. I'm looking it up.
let's just say sitting through my graduation was not fun. It took so fucking long.
Ours took like our we had like about 100 students.
The girl
I
next to
think
me
less.
like almost
So
passed
apparently,
out. So,
850 students are currently attending my high school.
mm.
Okay, your school is bigger than mine, but not by a
my
lot.
my graduating class was almost that size of that whole school. Anyways, so yeah, so we sneak out using like the one exit that there's no security guards by. Because the one that went straight into the parking lot, of course, there was a security guard there. So we sneak on out. We go to the
Mhm.
parking lot, get in Frog's car. Frog takes me to go get bagels. Good time. I texted my mom. I'm like, Frog and I went to go get bagels instead of going to crafts class. And my mom was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
English.
because I never skipped
Ima-
class. I never skipped
Imagine.
class. It was my senior year and it was an art class. So it wasn't like. And I had good grades, so it was fine. And I never missed any classes, like, ever. But, anyways, so we do that. We then go back to school, eat our bagels, and then at the end of the school day, I meet back up with Frog so that Frog can drive me home. And Frog had driven me
Mhm.
home multiple times before. So, you would think Frog knew the way back to my house from the school at this point, but
Mhm.
neither of us were paying attention. And then we pass under like a little area, and Frog goes, "I don't recognize this." And I go, and I myself am like, "I have not recognized anything for like the past 10 minutes. Not 10, like past 5 minutes." And Frog's like, "We're going to your house." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, we're a little lost. We're not near my house. So we had to bust out like the Google Maps to get back to my house.
Oh
We
my
missed one
god.
turn and we just kept going straight, and then we were just in a completely different area. So
Oh
when I
my
sit in the
gosh.
passenger seat, do not expect me to help you with the directions. I will simply keep you company. I will
So,
stay
okay.
awake the whole drive, but I will just sit there.
Okay. 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 I had a friend in high school. I'm sorry, Augusto, you're not getting many chances to speak. Um,
Nope. This is fine.
um,
I'm
I
drawing
had a friend
away.
in I had a friend in high school who we're gonna call Dragon, because that's part of their username. Dragon is younger than me. Yes, I was the first one in my friend group of all of my friends to learn how to drive because
Old.
our oldest friend, our friend who's a year older than us, but in our grade, didn't learn how to drive. And so I was the first one of the group to learn to drive. Um and so I'm me and Dragon, we go and we go to an escape room about 30 minutes away from home, from our town. And we after we do that, we are headed I'm trying to head back to her house so I can drop her off. And she's gonna take me a different way, and she does not tell me turn here until we're basically at the fucking turn. So I have to slam on the brakes and turn immediately. I'm like, bro, why? I hate it when people do that because it's like you're gonna make me cause an accident. Because
Yep.
girly, you need to tell me sooner.
Augusto,
You
do
cannot
you?
tell me last second.
Augusto, do you have any experiences of either yourself driving or other people driving?
Let's see. Let me talk about the time I had to drive my mother. We were coming back from being at the park, and while we were driving, she was on her phone. I'm the one driving.
Mhm.
And there was a big white sheet in the road. And I tell, hey, Mom, give my a conversation in Spanish. Hey, Mom, what do I do? No reply. Mom, it's getting closer. What do I do? No response. It's not going, Frida! Which means stop, stop, stop. And I kind of broke the front part of the white car. So, like, get the mouth. This I don't have this car anymore. But when I say this car was gone through so much shit, I mean it.
You put that car
Like the
through
entire,
some stuff.
I did. That entire the front part that looks like a mouth fell completely because apparently
The bumper?
yeah, the bumper. Because there was a big metal sheet in the road.
Oh
My mom,
God.
so I had to stop, put my hazard lights on, and I told my mom took it off the road.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I had her do that while we had the hazard lights on, and I kind of looked at her like, Mama, get off your phone. You can no longer be on your phone. You're no good assistant. You're not good at. I was asking for your help, and all you were doing is on your phone. And then I mock her, be like, kids these days on their phone all day. Because she does the same thing to me. So I'm like,
that's the appropriate response.
and she just looks at me and she's like, mm-hmm. That and then the thing is, I forgot to tell my dad that I totaled I hit the car, and the sheet fell off while he was driving it. I tried to reattach it myself, and I'm like, all right, it's fine, it's stuck up, and no, it fell back down, and it almost went under the wheel.
I just remembered about this. So I was driving home from work and it was raining really hard out. And I'm driving at about 50, 60 miles an hour because, it's back roads. No, like no one's on them. You can drive basically however fast you want. Don't tell the police. Hold on. My mom's calling me
So,
again.
yeah, you're.
You know what? Let me tell y'all another story. Since y'all are leaving in and out. So, my dad. This is not a crash story, but it makes you realize how bad of how bad my spatial awareness is. So we have the big booty truck. That's what I like to call it. Big 6-wheeled booty truck. You'll see it. One of the booties has gone in. If you know, that's when I hit. Anyways. And the roads are very small where we're going to go to get like gas for it. And I guess this is where I should have realized I have like some sort of problem with my spatial awareness because I couldn't tell if I was in and out of the road. Keep in mind, this is with me IRL as well. Like walking around, I will run into things constantly.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that.
So my spatial awareness is already bad in general, which would explain
Mhm.
why I've hit so many cars.
I've somehow not really hit many cars, but also my car yells at me if I start to get too close to a car to
Oh, you're
anything.
fancy. You have one of those fancy cars.
Funny enough, I
It,
also do.
I d-
And the thing,
bro, bro, the car,
the thing is,
my car is like a 2003. It has
this car is
nothing
like,
fancy.
oh, it's
You,
older than
if you want
me.
to adjust the seats, you pull a lever and it flings your seat back.
Oh, that's
so
So,
my
amazing.
car is like a 2013 car, I think. But remember, we also bought it crashed, so it was significantly cheaper than any other car. Like if you bought it just generally used, because it was basically scrap. That's basically what the car was, because it was not drivable. You physically couldn't drive it before fixing it up.
I
And
think
it took
my
my dad
car's older than
probably
me.
a
So,
year. Yeah. Um. Anyways,
Anyways,
were you were you finishing your story, or was it the end of it?
wait, what was I talking about again?
we've lost it.
I can. Okay, so but so I can finish my story that I got interrupted by a call with. Um. So I'm driving home. It's pouring rain out, and my windshield wiper flies off.
What?
It comes off the car, and so I have to get out of the car. My God, I'm sorry. I've gotten distracted by the wall because oh my God, that is so bad.
The what?
Anyways,
The wall?
the wall. That's a story for another time.
What do you mean that's
So
a story for another time? What do you mean?
so I so I have to pull over, and I turn on my hazard lights, and I get out of the car, and I run down the road to, because like this happened, and then I had to go from 60 to 0, and that takes a second. So I then had to run down the road to go and grab my windshield wiper, and then run back. And I just sat there for a second. I was like, "Can I reattach this?" No. I'm just gonna drive super slow, and I'm gonna give it to my dad to deal with. So I drive back home with only one windshield wiper, not the one in front of me, by the way, running. So I have half my windshield that I'm able to properly see through, and I'm just driving probably 30 miles an hour to get home. It was fun. It was fun to drive without a windshield wiper. It's pouring rain, and I was soaked when I got back to the car. By the way, like utterly soaked.
So as I mentioned, my car is old. It's either you're older than me or you're younger than me. It doesn't matter regardless because I'm 20, so that's an old car no matter
That
what.
old.
Um, as I said, you pull a lever, your seat will fly back. Um, like it does not have little knobs to adjust your seat. None of that. I think you have to manually adjust the mirrors too. Like there's no little switch for that. Uh, it's very old. It does have seat heaters though, shockingly. Only on the front
My
two
car
seats.
doesn't.
Um,
My car doesn't, which makes me sad in the wintertime.
but I don't use the car because I don't drive, but my mom does because her car it like needs a new engine and it's just more worth it to get rid of the car and get a new one, but we haven't done that. So she drives mine, which is fine, but I swear my family has a curse with cars because cars die so quick in our family.
Really? We've
We're
had the luck of
cursed.
cars that should have
We
ended
are
like 5
cursed.
years ago are still running.
But the second my mom starts driving my car, like frequently, it starts having problems. It was perfectly fine. But she's driving it home one day. She's not that far from our house, like maybe 5 minutes. Um, and all of a sudden, there's like a boom noise, like something exploded. So of course she immediately like pulls over and gets out of the car to see what just happened. And she can't tell where the like explosion noise came from. But she's
Mhm.
like terrified. Oh no, she was actually pulling into the driveway when it happened. She was not 5 minutes away. So
Mhm.
she's like, okay. So she just quickly like gets into the driveway and then just leaves the car, turns it off immediately. And she does not care to know what just exploded in the car. We come to
Oh
find
my
out
god.
later from my dad looking at the car that like a fuel cap or something exploded and it actually went through the hood of the car. So now there's a hole in the hood of of my car from the cap exploding through it.
Oh my god.
It was fine.
Oh
They just needed to replace the cap, so it was like nothing like long term, but there is now a hole in the hood of the car.
oh my god. That is what the fuck?
But imagine how terrifying it is to be driving the car and all of a sudden you hear an explosion. You can't tell what exploded. Like, I'm sure she feared for her life at that
God.
moment.
God. Yeah. No. Valid.
I don't blame
That
her.
is completely valid. My car needs to get fixed because apparently some ball bearings are loose, and you can only really hear it when you're in the passenger seat, not when you're driving.
Oh
And
lord.
so I never noticed until my mom mentioned something, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I still drive it. It hasn't gotten fixed yet. There's also one of the rims on my car that's cracked, so that's fun.
I want more
But my dad,
Augusto stories too. I feel like we've
that's fair. That's fair.
neglected Augusto.
Aw. Dude, I've been doing this art. It's looking gorgeous. It's looking edible. It's like looking better
August
than my driving career.
Augusto's doing art. Augusto doesn't is sucked into the art so
I'm
much that they aren't paying attention to the world.
I'm passenger princess in this conversation. Wait, can I talk about how I got my driver's license?
Yes. We
You
we
mentioned it in a
started to
previous
discuss it in
episode.
red flags, but we need to know
Yeah.
more because you do not legally
Yeah.
have your license. There is no way.
So, let's be real. It was my cousin's birthday like a couple years ago. I'm not gonna say when I got this, but a few years ago. And funny enough, I got my license technically yesterday. Yesterday was the date I got my license. For context, because this video will be posted on Friday, that would be June 16th. And I went to go to a restaurant to eat. This is to give context. And I found my cousin there. And I asked my aunt if I could take my cousin. And I did. I took them to the DMV with me because I was gonna go try to get my driver's license. The lady who tended to me thought I was her context. I am trans, but I do look feminine. Daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
They thought I was her daughter-in-law. I just kind of sat there with my cousin, who doesn't look like me doesn't look like me, because they have very curly hair, scrawny, and I'm here. I don't. We don't look. We don't. I look more like their mom, and they look more like my mother, which is crazy, because they're not
Mm-hmm.
related. Um, but going back to the conversation before my brain decides to derail again. um, the worst part is, so I wear glasses as well. So this is context y'all are gonna need. I know I wear glasses. So the lady thought I was their daughter-in-law, and We're sitting there chatting, being really nice. Me just doing my customer service voice, like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, everything is going fine. It's like, oh, I thought you were my daughter-in-law. Pause. Yeah, no, I've gotten a lot from a lot of people. A lot of people think I'm someone else I'm not. I don't know why. That everybody thinks I'm someone I'm not. And
Damn.
it's crazy because she's like, all right. I was like, oh yeah, I just need to renew my permit because I don't have my license yet, and I need to get my license. And to get my license, I need to renew my permit. So I wasn't even there to get my permit, by the way. I was there to renew my license. No, I wasn't there to get my license. I was there to renew my permit. She's like, oh, don't worry, we can get your permit right now. Oh, get my permit right now? Bet. I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds great. It's like, yeah, we just need you to do the visual tests and name some road signs and you're all set. I'm like, okay, cool. Keep in mind, I said, let me try to do this without my glasses. I couldn't see an entire column.
Oh my god.
I'm very, by the way, I'm very blind on my right eye to the point I can't, without my glasses, I can't see my computer screen very well. It's very blurry. It's in the in between where my both eyes can't see it. That's why I wear my glasses when I do stuff. Otherwise I wouldn't have them on. But she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just make sure you wear your glasses when you drive." So she put on my thing that I can drive without my glasses legally when I probably shouldn't have that on there. Um, yeah,
That's concerning.
And you
it
did
is.
not get your permit renewed that day, did you, Augusto?
No, I got
You
my
got your
license.
license.
I got my license. I got my license instead of my permit renewed. She's like, "Oh, well, you've had your permit for 4 years. I think you can get your license."
That's not how it works, lady.
I wasn't
Lady.
complaining. I ain't complaining because I got that. I just needed to pay a small fee. No driving tests. No stress. Easy.
Augusto, you should not be on the road.
Ace,
Two of
you shouldn't
three
be
of
on
the
the road.
people in this call should
I
not
went
be
through
on
the
the road.
process.
No.
Ace passed it fair and square.
I did it fair and fucking square, you whore.
You're calling me a whore? My arrow ace ass a whore? My pride.
You're emotional. You're emotionally, not physically, a whore.
Touche. I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Two of the three people in this podcast should not be on the road.
And it's funny
Yeah.
because guess
And
what,
one
guys?
of those two is.
Guess what?
Oh God.
This might scare you a little bit more.
Oh no.
I'm gonna learn how to drive a
So
motorcycle.
That's even more
Buddy.
dangerous.
Buddy, I'm gonna be coming to visit you in a week.
You're gonna see my cool motorcycle that I'm gonna learn to drive.
You
I'm
can't
gonna
even legally
smack you
drive
upside
a
the head.
car. You did not pass the. You do not have the credentials to drive a car.
I named those road signs perfectly. I passed that test.
There's other things you have to do.
You never passed
like
the
what?
driving test.
I never did one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Meaning you never passed one.
Look, my DMV is small. Like,
That was mine.
it's about the size of my room, type of small. Like, me and my brother's room combined, type of small. You'll see how small my room is when you get here. You'll see. But yeah, it's
You should not have. Moral of the story today.
You know what's the worst part?
I'm gonna be terrified.
You know what's the worst part?
I'm in the car with Augusto.
You know what's the worst part?
Worse?
Most of the cars and like
Don't make it worse.
most of the cars and everything is under my name. So it's under the insurance my parents have for me. It's all the titles are under my name.
Oh,
So it's because ever since I got that license, they're like, yeah. So I don't know how high my insurance is because of how many cars are on it. And you know what's worse? So you know the jet skis? Those are also on there.
Oh.
I have a jet ski license though. I can drive a jet ski pretty good compared to a car. I know how to drive a jet ski pretty well.
I don't think Augusto noticed.
I did notice. I paused.
Noticed what?
I
I
slept.
left
Oh.
on purpose.
Oh.
And
I
then
didn't
I paused
notice.
and then just like kept going.
I'm not facing
Wait,
my
can I
computer. I'm
share
sitting
one jet ski
sideways.
one jet ski moment I had?
Go ahead.
Just one. Me and my brother ride the jet ski together because he's scrawny. I'm not, so it balances the weight on the jet ski. This dumbass ran over a snake and almost hit. Like he ran over a snake.
Oh,
And one
boy.
time he was dissociating. We both have ADHD. That we almost ran into somebody's like what's it called, dock. Until I had to say, "Broski, move," and shifted his hands a little bit. Because we were like, I think at least 5 feet away from hitting it.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's my brother's jet ski driving. I drive better than him in jet ski.
Okay. I think we're gonna call this episode here before Augusta terrifies me even more with their driving skills.
Oh,
And
buddy, I'm gonna
before
be driving.
the legal
And before
officials
anybody-
catch on to
Yeah.
us, they're not legally having a license.
Yeah. Let's end it here. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a spinny spin for next week because for next week's episode, and that so then we can know what we're gonna do, and that is
What is it? What is it?
Am I the assholes?
Oh God.
We're
When's
gonna
the
be
last
doing
time
Am I the Assholes?
When was the last time I
We're just
read those?
I haven't read any in a while.
Are
but
we
they're just a
reading
lot of fun
them,
in
or are
general.
we like making our own of moments where we may
think-
or may
I
not have
think-
been the asshole?
I think we should read some.
Read
Because
some? Oh,
I'm
right.
Yeah.
We'll do
Because
our
it's a lot
research,
easier.
do our homework.
Yeah, we'll do our homework. And so I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode, and please
Don't get in a car
come-
crash.
Oh, yeah, don't get in. First of all,
Buckle up.
don't get in an accident. Second of all, never get in a car with Augusto. Don't
What
be
the
like
fuck?
me.
You're gonna
like-
be in a car with me. I'm picking you up.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said don't be like me and get in a car with Augusto.
Come on.
I'll give you guys an update. I'll give you guys an
You'll
update
live.
on
You'll
how
live.
the whole
I
trip
know how
went.
to drive. I know how to drive. I swear.
Ace may not be here.
I know how to drive. Ace.
If we have a special guest and no Ace, you know why.
Guys, I know how to drive.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
I do. I do know how to drive.
Anyways.
Guys, please.
I've been
I know how to
Ace.
drive.
I'm Tori.
I'm Augusto, and I know how to drive. I swear.
And please don't get lost in the grove or lost in Augusto's car.
What? Look,
Have a
it's
good
a
night,
clownmobile. It's a clownmobile. Get it right.
Okay, that's it. We're done.